It's been quite a new thing for Philips. A lot of people at Philips have been looking at opening up APIs on various products, but the Hue system was the one that really broke new ground with doing exactly that. The main thing is that there's nothing in place to do it, so that every stage of opening up the API and building the infrastructure and the way of working around it, we had to break new ground and invent new ways of doing things that didn't exist in Philips. No, it's not all about technology. It's people are not always familiar with opening up APIs in terms of giving access to people, marketing differently, providing information differently. It's really quite a process that is very different to producing a complete product that's packaged, done, you hand over to the consumer, and it's just a box that you use. The main thing is that Philips doesn't have an exclusive on creativity. So by having an open API, we've allowed a lot more people to come up with their own ideas of how to use the product and made the product more interesting by providing a lot more functionality with the product. That functionality has come from third parties who've invented new software, new apps to use the product. Well, it's been arranged, and it's quite entertaining at times. Certainly they filled the obvious gaps with the product, which is to do things like provide a music app where the lights respond to music, disco effects, or even a gentle change of mood. But also functional apps, people came up with other ideas, and we also connected to IFTTT, which allowed people to write their own little programs for Hue as well. For example, to respond to some sports event and set the color of the light to inform them what's happening on the match that they're following, for example. What we're looking for there is to improve the way we offer the open API to our developers, and we can invent the kind of things that Apigee have developed themselves as a packaged solution. But why should we do that when Apigee has already done that many times over and has honed the process? We would just be doing the same thing and reinventing the wheel all over again. It's the same API in the case of Hue. And that may be different for other products, but I'm working with Hue, so it's the same API. I think you can learn a lot from, even inside Philips now, I think we're in a position with Hue where we've learned a few things that we can teach others within Philips who are trying to do the same process. But I think you should learn a lot from others who are also opening up their APIs. It's not a process that is well documented, it's fairly new. But quite a few companies are doing it now, so look at what they're doing and the best practices and the ways to go about it that fits your particular setup, your particular business. Yes, there are certain obvious things. If you haven't had an open API system before, you're not going to be in the position of having your source available to the public. You'll have it in your enclosed internal source control system. And that will have standard processes around it to keep it secure and safe. So providing the API software to external third parties doesn't fit having a system which is locked away like that. So we had to adapt to using things like GitHub to make the code available, which was new to Philips. I think we're still at the beginning of exposing our API. We're still developing the process that we do that, developing our support for third parties, and building the infrastructure that is required. So I expect us to be doing a lot more with it in the coming year. There is demand. There's demand from third parties, large and small, to use the Hue API for different purposes and different business models. That drives the way that we support them.